Afternoon, Ngozi Talk Shows family. It's Nomsa here at Ngozi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. With me today, I have Abdul. Abdullah, how do you say your surname?
Obin. Obin.
Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it with you. We've got Abdul and Shireen Lovegrove. And how are you guys?
We're good, thanks. You?
Doing very well.
Awesome, awesome. So our topic today is how to cope with change and uncertainty. So on this video, we are going to dive into the essential strategies that experts recommend for coping with the change and uncertainty, which is what I'm going through right now. And Abdul, thank you for choosing this topic. Just attending, having been to being here at Ngozi Talk Shows without Carol Ann, to me, is a change because I see all these lot every day. I talk to them when I need them, but I can't talk to Carol Ann. So to me, that is a big change. But I'm sure the audience, Abdullah, would like to know, why did you choose this topic?
Okay.
What's the motivation behind it?
Okay, thank you very much, Mamsa. And the motivation behind this topic is just simple. In as much as humans who always want to grow, we want to, progress in our life, it is also coming with some kind of challenges or some kind of change that we always have to deal with. Okay, as we are prepared to grow, we are prepared to progress in our life. We also have to prepare our mind for changes, because there will be no change without growth or progression. So this is, everyday thing that happened. So I thought of choosing this topic for us to discuss with the audience as well.
Thank you so much, Shireen.
Yeah, it's a lovely topic. And yes, Abdul, thank you for suggesting it, because particularly because NOMS is going through these changes, and we all experience changes in our lives, don't we? And I guess one of the things that's really important here is, how do we manage that? How do we not lose faith when things are going wrong, and when things are not as we would like them to be, when that stability changes? How do we find our way and navigate that? And I think that for me, it's a really important topic, particularly when I go into that kind of dark space. How do I get out of it and be able to move forward, put the next foot forward, when you want to just stay in bed and just stay in that little lovely comforting place? So yeah, for me, really, one of the things is having a good faith. Having real faith in something gives us a sense of security and a sense of safety that allows us to trust that whatever is going on, we are going to be okay. We're going to be, at the end of the day, it is really, are we going to be okay, right? We may be missing someone, but it's still ultimately what's going to happen to us on some level. And we may love people and care about them, but the fear always resounds within us. So it really is about, how do I offset that? How do I offset that feeling? And sometimes that requires really strong faith in a higher being, or a higher sense of self, or a sense of knowing in some way. And as you said, Abdullah, the mindset is really important, because when we are in a really good mindset, we do have coherence, which allows us to then be able to think things through without having our heart beating away in a way that causes us to become scared or frightened. So yeah, it's such an interesting topic. And maybe a little bit might be, Nomsa, maybe tell us, how are you managing with the loss that you're experiencing right now? What is it, the thing that is keeping you going? What thing, that helps you to do that?
Okay, my loss, I'm just, I'm just trusting, like you said, you just have to have faith and trust. I don't ignore my feelings, because, you guys are part of my family. You chose to be at Ngozi talk shows, and since then we became like a family. Whenever I need something, or I just want to say hello, guys, and you're always there. But Carol Ann, she's not there. She's there, but at the moment, we have to talk to her through her family, and which is to me is a big loss because she's been there for me when I needed somebody to actually listen to me, when I needed somebody to tell me that things are going to be okay. She's been there for me. But now I feel that I don't feel lost, but I'm trusting God that because every day I cry out to God to actually look after her. And I ask God, why do I have to be in tears for the people that I love? And every time I ask and I cry out, I get a message like her daughter will be like, oh, I forgot to update you. She's recovering or any little improvement. And that's how I'm able to cope because to me, having faith and trusting that I don't have control over her situation, but somebody else has the control. God has control over that. And I'm just trusting. And to me, it's something that I didn't expect. I expected her to go on holiday. And then in the next thing, I'm getting a phone call that instead of a holiday, she's actually in a hospital. So I was like, okay, is that how life is now that we don't know the date where our lives are going to change? So if there is anyone who is watching, I would say enjoy every moment of your life, every second, make it count. Every minute of your life, make it count. Don't let anybody spoil your glory or your joy because we don't know when things can change. Things can change within a second. You know, like when my children are filming, Carol Ann, you and Carol Ann actually are the ones that runs the show when I'm taking my daughter for filming. And when my daughter's actually a TV series came out, I needed to tell her first and tell you and say, Kayla, but I just felt that sadness and I was like, Carol Ann is not here anymore. She's in a hospital. So I have to, normally I text her direct, but now I have to text her daughter, send her the video to actually go to the hospital and show it to her. And I was like, God, do I have to go through this? But I'm trusting that He will hear my cry as His promises say, seek. Whatever you seek, I will give it to you. So I'm just trusting that Carol Ann slowly she will recover and she will come back. And I'm trusting Carol Ann as well because that's what we teach. At Ngozi talk shows, we help everyone find their own voice. So I'm trusting that she will find her own voice of healing and just come out of the hospital. But I can tell you, is not a nice thing to go through, having to go through it. Because when you love somebody, you accept somebody in your heart. It's like they become part of you, and that part of you, regardless of having faith, it feels like that part of you has been stabbed in the heart. So yeah, over to you, Abdul.
Yeah, like you're saying, sometimes these are the changes that sometimes come to our life, and we have to, readjust our plans and then, be able to find a way and then maneuver ourselves through that. Okay, and like I said, change is inevitable part of life. Okay, there will be no progress or growth without change. Okay, and sometimes this changes come with a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of depression. Okay, and the stress these cases bring can be overwhelming at sometimes. Okay, and it can have a negative effect both on our well-being and then our physical and mental well-being. Okay, so one thing we have to take into consideration is that we, like you said, we always have to live our life like we are living once. Okay, we take advantage of every moment that we have. We live our life, we enjoy the life in the moment that we have, and then think that is a temporary situation, that no matter what you do, this life is not going to be there forever. So you take opportunity of every situation that comes your way, either bad or good. You take advantage of it, and then you embrace it, and able to figure your way out through that. One thing we have to look at is that we have to prepare our mind. Okay, prepare our mind that whatever we are doing is temporal. Okay, even though some changes are, we are certain about it, we are uncertain about some changes. Some changes that we create ourselves, we have control over it. Okay, we have made full control over it, and some changes too, it come unexpected. We least expect them. Out of blue, they just happen. So you have to prepare your mind. In such situation, when you prepare yourself, you will know you'll be less, depressed, and you have, less anxiety dealing with those kind of things that happen in our life. You can imagine you being a CEO of an organization, and within a short period of time, you are being relieved of the position. Okay, you are being dropped to an executive director. You can imagine how impressive that can be, and how negative that can impact your life. Okay, but in as much as how negative the situation is, we can also embrace that situation and look at other way, look at other positive aspects of that situation. Okay, you can try different company, you can try different career as well. You can improve on your skills and look elsewhere. You don't have to get stuck in that situation thinking that this is all I got, I cannot do anything about it. The moment you embrace it and you move on, who knows, those new challenges or those new opportunities that you try your hands on might be even better than the previous one that you had. And looking at the COVID time, we have to adjust ourselves to the new normal, where we are under lockdown. Okay, people were finding it difficult to cope. People were going through mental challenges. People were living through depression and all that. But man, those time also people were able to discover their talents. People were able to learn new things. Okay, even companies were able to learn new ways of working by combining the hybrid way. Okay, in the COVID time, we were able to discover the high-tech app like Zoom. Okay, so no matter how a situation, no matter how changed that will be for you, trust me, no matter how negative it might be, you have to embrace it. Okay, you have to embrace those that you have control over. In many situations, there will be aspects that you can control, okay, and others that you cannot. So you have to focus your energy on those that you can control. And like Nomsa said, those that you cannot control, you have to let it go. You have to, trust on God. Believe on God that, this God will do this for me. Okay, you don't have to stress yourself trying to control something that is uncontrollable. In that case, you are putting yourself in more, depressive stage, and that will have a negative impact on your physical and mental well-being. Okay, so we are also looking at you have to sometimes embrace this change and see them as an opportunity. You embrace them, see them as an opportunity instead of seeing the change as only threat or only negative impact, having a negative impact on your life. You can also see those changes as a growth channel or a growth opportunity for you to experience new ideas and new opportunity. Okay, to be able to maneuver yourself and then also able to go with it. And also we have to learn to adapt. Okay, we have to learn to adapt. And here I can say that those that they have adaptability skills, they are very good in terms of change, in terms of situations that come their way. Okay, and I can say that adaptability skills is a valuable skills that can help us in terms of uncertainty. Okay, so if you're able to be flexible enough, try to accommodate new changes or little changes that come to your life, and then also you see it as a way of opening up to new ideas, readjusting your plans, and then coping with it. And trust me, you'll be better off. You'll be able to not only to dwell on the negative of that impact that you have, but also you can dwell on it and see it as a positive way. Okay, and we also sometimes have to learn and grow. Okay, there are some changes that will come in our life that we have to learn and experience from it. Okay, imagine you having some friends, okay, having some friends that they are living from a broken home, you know the impact that working home have on them. Okay, so we only not able to learn on what's happening to us as an experience, but also learn through observable behaviors. Okay, so we use that as an experience to also help guide us along our way when we are going, and then we see a new change, we know how to be able to maneuver with it. So Shireen, I think I'll leave it here for you to also share idea a bit on that.
Thank you, Abdul. I think a lot of what I would reiterate is exactly what you've just said, which is so very, very important. Definitely the idea of really understanding what you can control and what you can't control, right? That story, the Lord's, that prayer of St. Francis, give me the grace to be able to be able to do what I can do and to know when I can't, and to be able to allow ourselves to give ourselves grace when there are things that we can't, right? A lot of the time we spend a lot of time thinking that we can control everything. Well, in fact, we can pretty much control most of what's happening to us, but we can't really control anything that's happening outside us. But we can control our mind. We can control the way we relate to ourselves. And that's going to allow us to then be able to relate to everybody else outside. So I love what you said, which is what really the skills that we need. One is we need to be flexible, right? We need to have the ability. And in NLP, they normally say the one who has the greatest flexibility has the greatest amount of control. The more flexible you are in the ability to be able to bounce back, to be able to look at things, to see alternatives in another way, the easier it's going to be to handle the situation, because you won't be so stuck in that place. To be able to look at, and I loved what you said, but to look at something which is as a gift and an opportunity. So when we can start looking at it and go, hey, what's the gift here? This is not ideal. It's not ideal right now. But if there were a gift here, if there were something that I could take from this, because we are also very naturally very forward people. It's intrinsic within us. So if we're able to do that, what is it here that's the gift that I can use? We're already stepping into the future, and we're already looking to see what we need. And our brain starts to go on this transderivational search so that it can come up with solutions for us. There's also the idea of what else do we need to do? We need to build our brain's capacity to hold, to be able to hold the emotion. Like Nomsa, you said something, which is, I don't ignore my feelings. Well, we have to be able to hold those feelings so that we can process them, that we can let them move outside our body, let them do what they need to do, but so that we can hold and that we can be still in that place and know that we're not being thrown around by the tide. So part of that holding is doing things that actually really strengthen your mindset. So doing things like just gentle contemplation, or asking the kinds of questions that take you very deeply into your mind. So we're looking for what we call an iterative process. So when you ask a question, so this is what I'm doing, what's the reason I'm doing this? What does that give me? So when where would I want to do that? All these kinds of questions that takes us into deeper layers of our brain. Not only does it rest our brain, but it also strengthens the capacity in our brain for those areas of our brain where we have our ability to manage our emotions, manage our ability to cope in the world. And not only that, just doing that will increase our sense of resilience and our anti-fragility. And I suppose the one thing which is really, it triggered for me when you were speaking, Abdul, is that the only thing we can guarantee is change. We can't, we spend so much of our life in a way, sometimes trying to create stability because we think it's safe. But change has a really nasty way of telling us it's going to happen no matter what. So we might need to think about what would it be like if it changed, right? One of the things okay, Carol Ann may come back, she may not come back, but what will we do in the interim? How will we create something new that will create a bigger space that will allow her to come back, if that's the case, or if she doesn't, that we don't have this big gap that's sitting and gaping. If we give that sense of safety that way, then what happens is we feel that at least we've got some semblance of control. That means we've given ourselves some agency. The only reason we get stressed is when we feel we have no capacity to act, no capacity to do anything. So it's very important to always look, what can I do here? What can I do? What bit can I do? How can I do this? Even if it's, no matter how small, where's the agency? Because if you can have that, most of your stress will go down. Most of the ache will go down. Most of the worry will go down. So it's really being aware that we have, one, to kind of build our mental muscle, our brain, by doing some really deep kinds of thinking that really make the brain go into this lovely harmonious state that then allows our heart and mind to resonate, and to then really accept that change happens. And I loved it because you said that, Abdul, you said we have to accept that change is always going to happen. Nothing can stay the same, and not be too stuck on that, but to think, okay, if it's going to change, what can I do to protect myself? What can I do to ready myself for change? So, Namsa, I don't want to rabbit on.
I love that. I love that change will happen in life, whether we like it or not. We have to be prepared for it. And yeah, yesterday, actually, I was thinking that whether if she comes back, she comes back. If she doesn't, I'm gonna have to accept it, even though it's not what I want. It's the journey that I want I don't want without her, but I will have to accept it. But I wasn't focusing on her coming back. My energy was all about her getting healed first. And then the rest, and gossip talk shows can just continue, is fine. But I think my priority right now is for God to actually touch her and her family and get her out of this situation. And also, like what Abdul said, that change will happen whether we like it or not. And also, nothing stays the same in life. We have to understand that, but at the same time, our mindset, you mentioned the mindset, you both mentioned the mindset. We have to manage our mindset and make sure that our minds are in the right place, which is very, very important. And also, you mentioned that recognize change is part of life. And also change brings opportunities. And once you identify that, then you'll be able to cultivate positivity in your life, and the power of gratitude as well. For me, what keeps me going in everything else is gratitude. It's just appreciating God, appreciating the life that I have, and not letting just the negativity just take over the positivity, my life experience. I always say to God, I'm not going to let the negative change, just rewrite my positive change. So I know the life that where I'm going. I know where I've been with the Carol and with you guys. So I'm embracing that family relationship. I'm embracing the opportunity of having gossip talk shows and just having the love from you guys. That's what I'm focusing on. And if anyone that is going through the same thing, you can focus on the gratitude and focus on love, and don't focus too much on what has gone wrong. So just focus on the journey where you are going. If you have to rewrite your story, please do rewrite it or if you have to rewrite your past, please do rewrite your past, and know that there are pages that are the future is unwritten, and there are still blank pages that you need to rewrite. So you can just rewrite the story and just keep going. That's what keeps me going. Knowing that God loves me, and God loves Carol Ann, and God loves all these speakers. And Carol Ann, my granddad, as we speak, is in a hospital as well. He's not good, he's very, very serious. And my family are at war. My granddad not being ill, not being well, when they're like wondering who is going to do this, who is going to do this. And they call me, and the agenda is for me to take side. And then me, I'm like in the middle. I'm like, that's not what we do in our family. We are together, one voice, one agenda. So just focus, stay focused, because they are hurting. And when somebody is hurting, they lash out on somebody else because they're not used to it. He's a man that loves everybody. So they are hurting, and then the easy option is to lash out on somebody, then it makes you feel better. So I was like, no, we don't do that. I was like to my uncle, we don't do that. That's not how I was raised, guys. Just stay focused. And they're listening now, they're all together and just focusing on what's best. So I think that is very, very important, is to embrace life, regardless of whatever is going wrong. Just keep embracing it. Keep embracing it. I think that was last week when I mentioned that when my daughter was, we changed school and she wasn't doing well. And then when I kept testifying the good that I know about my daughter and her teacher, and now she becomes the genius person. So I think it is very, very important to focus on where you're going. Don't focus on what has gone wrong. Me, I communicate with the problem. I just, sometimes, you see these earphones, I've got maybe 5 or 7 of them. When I'm going out, I'm always have my earphones on listening to music. If my negative thoughts comes in, I tell them, I communicate with them. Sometimes people think I'm talking over the phone, but actually I'm talking to myself sometimes and telling my thoughts that not now. I'm like, I'm aware you negative thoughts that you're trying to divert me to the wrong direction. But at this moment, this is where I'm going. And I don't ignore them. I evaluate them. Why am I having this negative thoughts? And then I deal with them. But at the same time, the big thing that I have is knowing that I don't have control of other things. I can control. I can put the computer. I don't even have control with the computer because the computer can decide not to come on me. So I can do the things that I have control over. But there are some things that are in life we don't. But as human beings, we try to control everything. But that's not the way. Over to you, Abdul.
Yeah, like that's what you're saying. We should try and then do as much as possible to control what we can, and then we leave those that we can control to God. He's the Almighty, He's the Supreme that can handle those things that we cannot control. Okay, and one thing also we should also look at that sometimes some changes that come in our life, they are unbearable. They are very difficult. I mean, they are overwhelming to deal with. Okay, so sometimes we also have to seek professional advice. Okay, we shouldn't say we want to handle everything ourselves. Like you said, as humans, we always try to control everything that comes to us. You know, some things are outside your control. So you have to seek a professional advice. Okay, and sometimes you might see maybe psychologists or maybe whatever to help you. I mean, give you a professional advice as to that. Sometimes you might have like family and friends that we think that we trust, that you think when you share your problem with them, they can help you, give you some kind of emotional assistance as to that particular problem that you have. And also, you should also look in a way of setting more realistic and measurable goals. Okay, there are some of the goals that we set for ourselves, I mean, are exuberant, okay? They are so huge that sometimes they are not achievable, okay? And the more you go ahead trying to struggle to achieve goals that they are so huge that you cannot achieve, the more depressive you become, okay? But when you set the realistic ones, the moment you're able to achieve even a little bit of them, you know, you develop a sense of confidence, okay? You become more confident to forge ahead, to continue to pursue more. But when those ones that they are huge, that you're unable to achieve, you lose self-confidence, and then the time you realize you are stuck and you're unable to do anything about that. We also have to look at taking care of ourselves. That is a self-care. Okay. These days we are always busy trying to do everything possible to keep up with the society, with our family, and all that. But sometimes we are forgetting that we are humans. We need a break. Okay, sometimes we have to have some break and take care of ourselves. We have to engage ourselves in regular exercises. We have to look at our diets. We have to take and go on a vacation. Okay, we have to rest. Stay away from the business, stay away from the noisy talk shows, stay away from everything that you are doing, and then take care of yourself. It's very, very important, because these changes that come in our life every day, they are very difficult to handle sometimes, like I said. So you have to encourage yourself, looking at yourself, taking care of yourself. And also we have to develop a sense of resilience. Okay. The world is changing, and it's changing in any aspect for life, in education, our career, our relationship, and all that. And there are new norms, things that we don't see, we used to, not seeing them, but now they are closer to us, and things are very difficult for us to move with. Okay, so you have to be determined and tell yourself that no matter what, no matter the situation, no matter the challenges that changes that will happen, that will come with, I will have to be resilient enough to be able to deal with this kind of changes. Okay, and you have to know that whatever happens, okay, it's not going to last long. It will change. So you know that this is a moment that I find myself, even though this situation is very, very, depressive to me, very, very negative to me, but you have to be determined enough and look at the vision that you have, the goals you set for yourself, that you are not going to give up on it. And with determination, you can overcome those kind of difficulties, or those kind of the changes coming. We also have to look at the way we manage our time. Okay, the way we manage our time is also very, very important. Okay, so when we set a time according to our schedules, even though sometimes you don't know, you try and then you schedule everything according to your own time, but the least you expect, there will be a change. Okay, how do you manage yourself trying to combine the new thing that are happening to your schedule that you have already? That because you're able to manage your time, you're able to set a schedule that will be able to fit your way of doing stuff, you'll be able to maneuver yourself and be able to know how to be dealing with it. So it's very important that we look at the way we deal with changes that happen in our life. Like I said, it will come, whether you like it or not, but you have to learn a way of dealing with them before you get out of hand, because this have, very impact on our mental and our physical well-being. And if you joke with them, it's going to, affect you seriously. So you have to try as much as possible to accommodate, adapt, and then deal with them as it comes along.
I love that. I love that. And I was just thinking a little bit about, you kind of went, oh, self-care, and then I kind of jumped a little bit for a second. And I think I jumped because we had gone on to one section and now we were going on to something very important, which is if we want to protect ourselves or have resilience, build up resilience, I think the key is we've got to build ourselves in some way. So the idea that we can't be pushing out energy in the wrong place. It needs to be focused. I love that, Abdullah. We need to focus the energy in the right way. So yes, maybe we don't come on in Cosy Talk shows. We do some self-care, but we need to do it consciously, hey? We need to be able to be very sure why we're doing what we're doing. But I love that, and I love the you know, the idea that it's so important. And I'm not going to even downgrade it. It's so important. Self-care is what builds us. Self-care is what makes us survive, and it gives us the greatest amount of resilience possible. So yes, the time management, food, eating, sleeping. Oh God, we've all got to sleep. Make sure you put time for sleep. When you sleep, you clean your brain. That's the most important thing. You clean your brain. But not only that, we remember better if we've had a good sleep, right? So if you say, oh, you are learning during the day, and you go and have a 20-minute kip, after that, you will recall far more of that work because you've had an integration phase. So sleep is so important. So anybody that's doing everything till midnight and then sort of getting back at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, you're really frying your brain. Your brain needs sleep. And when you sleep, not only that, you allow all the other parts, all the parts of your brain that are part of our intuitive parts come up, and they give us more information. So that allows us to put things together in a really beautiful way. And I love the idea you said about resilience, because resilience is what we have resilience. But the other thing is what we want with resilience is we want the bounce back. We want to have the capacity to use that as the catapult that takes us forward. So we need to be anti-fragile. Anti-fragile means we can bounce back as soon as we've got this problem. Yeah, we may go down a little bit, but we are not down and we're finished. We're down and we're kind of sitting there and we go, okay, I'm okay. I can bounce back. It may not take me as quick, but I will bounce back, and having that confidence. And you also said something, oh yes, and what then came up for me was developing that attitude of gratitude, right? Developing an ability to be able to go, well, thank you for this. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, but I'm grateful because somewhere here's a gift. Somewhere here I can turn this around, even if it feels like I don't know yet, right? Even if I feel I don't know. And I think what I really got from what you were saying there, Abdullah, was really that we really need to be looking and managing our mind, our body, and our spirit, our soul. So we need to follow some form of spiritual connection, whether it's to God, whether it's to something else, it doesn't matter, but we need to have some sort of spiritual practice that is going to hold us and hold it all together. I think that's very important. And I suppose what I also was thinking about, the being and the doing, right? The being, doing, and having. So when so much of us are so busy doing, we forget to be, which means we don't get to have, right? Because if we're constantly in the doing, we're not living in the having. So it's really important, I think, to spend time thinking about what can we be, who can we be, so that we can have. And I think that can be really helpful in taking us out of fear, out of all those spaces where we get really anxious, and will take us more into a place of reminding ourselves that we are safe. When we can look back and we can think about it. Oh, I have that. Oh, I have that. I have that. I have that. That actually builds our mood, doesn't it? It makes us feel a little more happy. Oh, I have that. I didn't think I had that. Right. How many of us go, we find something, we go through a drawer, and we find something and we go, wow, your mood just shoots up, right? Because you realize, oh, I have that. Didn't get lost. I found something. And there's something about the beauty and the childlikeness of finding something that we have. So yeah, that was something that really clicked for me as another way of really looking at things and building resilience and building our soul in a way, so that we can be able to cope with losses and with change.
Sleep, Abdullah, we need to go to bed. I sent him a topic at 2 o'clock. Was it 2 o'clock or 3 a.m.? He replied, and I was like, he's still up. I don't know. Yeah, need to sleep. I sleep 4 hours or 5 hours. That's enough. If I sleep 7 hours, I get really tired, but I don't have too much sleep. And also taking a break. Thanks, Abdul, saying taking a break. I normally take breaks, and Kero Anis and Shireen, they're normally the ones who are at Nkosi talk show. So Shireen will have to find her partner in crime that she can broadcast with. When I'm saying it, do you remember that day you said to take a break? I'm taking one today. Yeah, so yeah, taking a break is very, very important as well. And also looking after yourself, self-care. You guys mentioned self-care is very, very important. And also educating yourself is very, very important. Seeking out the resources such as like Ngozi talk shows and engaging on other workshops and courses and dealing and managing uncertainty is very, very important. And also engaging open conversations with people that you trust is very, very important as well. And understanding that we are all different as well, because sometimes people tend to compare themselves with other people. Like sometimes you'll find people saying, oh, if you are coping, why am I not coping, or why my life is like this? So and then I end up telling like my friends, I'm like, if you were to compare your life with me, that is crucifying yourself, because when you guys are sleeping, I'm praying 3 hours and 2 hours, and then you get up in the morning comparing your life with me. That's not fair. So I tell them, never compare your life with anybody. It's very, very important to actually, when you're going through something, or even if you go on Facebook, like you'll find there's some people, when they're going through something, or even marriages at home, they will look at their friends' pictures on Facebook and they're like, why are they going out? They're having this. Why am I not having this? But you don't actually know the story for somebody, and then you're comparing your life with them. That's not fair for your destiny as well. So it's very, very important to know that we are all individual, and that our battles are different. And just ask somebody, if you admire someone, ask them how they are coping with life, how are they able to be where they are, so they'll be able to share it with you. So it's very, very important to actually take good care of yourself. And like Shireen is saying about sleep, and document the journey. You know, my dad used to love documenting everything. When he died, actually, it was like he was taking me to a journey where everything that I needed was in his diary. And just document the journey of your life, whatever, like if you something, you just document it. Is very, very important, and it's so beautiful as well. And know that sometimes when the uncertainty involves pain, sometimes we tend to focus on the pain instead of healing. Just focus on the healing. If you're going through something, or if you're going through some changes in your life, focus on that. Seek continuous support from people that you trust, or from the coaches. That is very, very important. You can contact Ngozi talk shows, and also identify common emotional responses. Like it could be anxiety, or it could be maybe stress, or overwhelm, or fear of the unknown. Um, for me, normally is feeling overwhelmed. When I'm going through something, it's like if I receive a text or some changes in my life, or something that, or somebody is not well, I find that fear just sticks in and like poking in for me to to feel like the pain. But then I have to stop that moment and say, okay, pain, I hear you. I know you want to take over, but not now. I'm just going to cope how, then I have to change how I respond to the situation, because the body will make a decision how he wants to respond. But then your feelings, you have to then rewrite them and say, no, that's not how I want to respond. This is how I want to respond to this situation. And then know that, like we spoke about faith, having faith from the beginning. Have faith regardless of what you are going through, no matter what pain. Just keep saying positive things. And I find the more I say positive things, the more I actually pull through and go to the other side, climb the mountain. So just keep saying positive things, and regardless of what, and don't give up. Don't give up your life, and don't compare your life with anybody else. We are all individual on earth. We are fighting different battles. We are conquering joy. We are conquering the battles and finding joy, and celebrate where celebration is needed, even if it's little wins. Just celebrate it. I was talking to my daughter the other day, and I'm like, "Oh, you've gone through to the semifinals." Up, she goes, "Oh, that's expected." I was like, "What do you mean is expected?" She goes, "Oh, wow, that I'm used to it, so I don't need to celebrate anymore." I was like, "No, you need to celebrate. You need to acknowledge it." And the other day, when we were saying I need to watch their TV series, and they're like, "No, we're not watching that." I was like, "Why?" And they go, "Do you know how long it took us to make it?" And I was like, "Actually, I agree with you guys. I wouldn't do acting my job as a full-time job. I think it will piss me off." Honestly, I would not do it one day. I know, like when I watch the TV stars, I'm like, no. I did go once, and I was like, do I have to keep repeating the one thing all day, saying one thing? And I'm like, I don't want to do this for living. So I wouldn't do it. So, but when those changes comes, when it comes to life, you just have to expect. And also the other thing that is important, people might laugh at you. You know, people, they're wicked. Honestly, people are wicked. They might laugh, but it's none of your business when people are laughing. How people respond to any changes in your life is none of your business. They are not a God. They are not Jesus. They are not God. If they respond in a way that they make you feel ashamed with problems, don't they understand the art of giving a F word. Don't actually, it's not your business. Your business is to get better, to get things out of control. You know, I met this girl on YouTube when I went to the YouTube event. She said people were laughing. Said, Nomsa, when I started my channel, people were laughing at me. But then when I reached 3 million, they stopped laughing. It just happened just like that. She said it was a struggle. And then after a few years, I woke up one day, I had reached 3 million. Now they stopped laughing. They wanted to be my friends. And now it was me that was in control. And I was like, no, I choose this path. And she was like, and I was like, see now, is it proves that people don't define your destination. So people might laugh when you're going through something, but it's okay. Just keep going. Or sometimes I hear I tell you something. I actually did something, and then I helped somebody to find like a course in Africa, one of the pastors to find a course within the company to help African people who are not educated to go to school and study for free. So I sent that course, we signed the document and sent the course over, handed over the course. So now I'm telling my family, some members of my family, to go and do the course. One of the guys turned around and said, wow, you're sending me to this guy to do the course. Who is he? He has got nothing. How can he provide me with a course if he has got nothing? I was like, really? Yeah. He was like, so in the end, I didn't even say that I even know about the course. I just went, oh, okay, then. So in the end, they disrespected him, but actually he is something. And the course is really, because I signed the document and handed it over, all the paperwork and approved, and then he handed it over to him to take over. So, and then I was like, and that's how people they are. Wow. I was really shocked when I handed it over, and that course is actually real. And this company is helping people to actually find jobs, because I was like, I think it's a good idea. I was like, do you think you can do it? You can help people your end, because he's got the church. And he was like, yeah, I'll do it, Nomsa. I'll help them. I'll provide the internet, and then they can come and do the training, do the exams. And I handed over the course. And then asked people to go and do the training for free. And some of them, they were like, no chance. He hasn't got, it's not real NUMS. I was like, okay. So it shows, Abdul, you're from Africa. You know what people are like. and Shireen, she's from Africa as well.
I am indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, over to you, Abdul.
Yeah, so that's it. So I think we also have to look at individual strengths.
Yeah.
In changing family life, we have to look at individual strength, and we have to adopt a particular defense mechanism that will best fit our life. Okay, it's what might work for Nomsa might not work for Shireen. So you have to look at yourself, and then be able to discover a particular defense mechanism that will, best fit your situation. For me myself, sometimes when I'm confronted with difficult situations, the best defense mechanism that I use is stagnation. Okay, I try to be able to convert the negative things to a positive way. I engage myself in skills that are in line with my career. So the moment I'm hit with difficulty, like sometimes I'm kind of like stressed and all that, I have to go to the internet, search courses that I want to be able to help me develop some skills that best fit my career. So you also have to take that into consideration. You have to, look at those defense mechanisms that will also best fit us as individuals to deal with this kind of changes that come in our way. So it's very, very important that we take into consideration as well. And you said individuals, we are all unique in our way. Sometimes we do trying to overcopy people, like Nomsa said, because somebody is doing this and I want to be same as that person. But mind you, the background or the foundation the person has set for they have set for themselves is different from what you are coming from. So if you try to copy, you are going to break down, because you are not all equal. We are all different from our situation. So you have to look at yourself and then gradually build yourself to the level that best fits you. If you want to learn something from that individual, you have to go closer to them, okay, instead of trying to copy them wrongly, okay, because what the roots or the channel they use to get to where they find themselves, you might not have the opportunity to use the same channel. And when you want to try to follow the same path, you are obviously going to hurt yourself. So you get closer to them. That's why we have mentors, okay? We have mentors. If you think there are certain things you want to be like people or whatever you want to do, you have to seek their advice. Don't sit somewhere and think that I can also do it. I can do the same thing Nomsa is doing, or I can do the same thing Rashid is doing. Okay, in such case, yes, you can do it, but your situation is different from them. So you have to really look at yourself very well and see the best that will fit help you to rediscover yourself. And that's very, very important that we should pay attention to that. But I think Nomsa, you said it all. Shireen, you said it all. So I leave it to Shireen to.
I don't think I can add any more, really, to be honest, except to reiterate exactly what all of you are saying. And I think the takeaway for me really is really about how to look after ourselves so that we can manage for the later. And I think that's the really key part, which is really part of the self-care, because everything that we're doing is about how do we manage ourselves on some level, isn't it? And what are the factors that help that to happen? So, you know, what we have to look at is what we're going to do for our mind, all the sorts of things. You talked about SMART goals, right? Make sure they're achievable, make sure that we're able to record them, make sure we're able to be able to even think about them in the time frame that we can, so that we don't get disheartened, that we go forward rather than slip back all the time. You know, making sure that we build our mental muscle, so we feed, you know, our body in a different way, so that we feed it, we give it the rest that it needs. So, and then I suppose there's really about building a happiness mindset, you know, allowing ourselves to recognize that actually happiness is just a thought away. That's the crazy thing. We just have to switch it, like a switch that we can turn on and switch it across so that we can be happier. And we know that happiness, the more happier we are, the healthier we are, the more likely we'll be able to have friends, the more likely we'll have a bigger social network. So it really is about connecting with others so that they help us and hold us at the same time. So being on the show, for example, is a way of being held, isn't it, Nomsa? I mean, on some levels. If you had to do it yourself every time, you would find it a bit challenging. I'm not saying you would find it impossible, but you certainly would find it challenging. But when you do it with people, collectively, it really helps to lift the energy, and we feed off each other. We build, and we're able to add value to each other. And I think that's also important in the sense of really looking at ourselves and asking, what are we adding value to? How do I add value to each of your lives? You know, so I could come and talk, but what value can I bring is really important, and it's a great question to ask. If you come onto a show, every time you even have a conversation with someone, really, what value am I bringing? And it's not to be in a negative way, but it's how can I enhance this person's life so that they're feeling good? How can I make it better in another way? Because the moment we do that, it gives us a sense of purpose, gives us a sense that we are doing something and we are useful. And we all want to be useful. If we're not useful, we have no reason to be here. So let's be useful. Let's realize that is important for all of us. And if it's the moment we think that we don't matter, that we can do everything alone, that we really fail and we lose. So yeah, that's kind of the takeaways that I'm really getting from here today, and really grateful to be able to have two people here that have some real deep insights that share and helps me stimulate me. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Do you have any words of encouragement, Abdul, before we go?
I think you've said it all, and then the takeaways that Sharon is saying, we have to take note of them. In as much as we want to grow, we want to develop, like we go away with this. I mean, this note that she has mentioned, we should go with them and learn to inculcate in our life, and it's going to help us live with change and uncertainty.
Thank you so much, Shireen and Abdul. For me, I would just repeat what I said before, that how you respond to every situation is how you are able to move forward, and also how God is able to promote you as a person. And every situation is different. Don't compare your life with everybody else. And if you want to actually connect with us, you can go to the website www.hseia.com and send a message there. If you want to connect with Abdul, you can send me a message. Or if you want to connect with Shireen, and send me a message. And or if you want coaching, there's a page where you can book for coaching. And see you tomorrow, guys. Live with grace, and God bless.